Guys, welcome to the world debut of the all-new 2022 Toyota Tundra. It's here in the flesh, and in this video I'm going to give you my top 10 coolest features of this new truck. I'm going to show you several trucks, go over everything you want to know, all the information we currently have. No more camouflage, no more spy images. This is the real deal, and it starts right here. Number 10 on my list, of course, is the design and the chassis of this new truck, because it's all new. They left no nut and bolt untouched on this puppy. Toyota has prepared several trucks here for us to look at, and this one is an SR5 TRD Sport. So it's a special trim on one of the more base versions of this truck. But here's the thing. I'm about 6'2", just over that, and this front grille is massive. You also have a little TRD logo right here in this grille. Each trim basically gets kind of a unique touch on its look. On the exterior, you have Tundra, of course, printed here. Down here by the bumper in the front is a place for your radar, because every truck, every new Tundra for 2022 comes with the latest safety equipment, but I'll tell you about that a little bit later.
This video was made possible by our friends at Manscaped. Manscaped has the best tools on the market for grooming, and you know we love a good toolkit. Well, now you can get the new waterproof Lawnmower 4.0 in the Performance Pack 4.0 bundle. That's all the tools you need in one. The Lawnmower 4.0 has replaceable ceramic blades, a built-in LED, and wireless charging. The kit also includes a weed whacker, nose and ear hair trimmer to take care of any unsightly messes above the collar. And who could forget about the ball toner and ball deodorant? To keep your toolkit stocked with everything you need, check out the Peak Hygiene Plan. Go to manscaped.com for 20% off of your order plus free international shipping, and a free travel bag, and a pair of boxer briefs when you use the promo code FASTLANETRUCK at checkout. Trust me, your body and your balls will thank you.
They still call it Crew Max in Toyota speak, so it's got 4 full-size doors. This particular one has a shorter bed option, which is a 5.5 footer. But if you look at this truck in profile here, it's about the same size as before if you compare feature for feature, like the Crew Max here with a shorter bed. But of course, they also put a 6.5 foot longer bed on a crew cab for 2022, and I'll show you that in a second. Many of the elements in the new Tundra are really functional, of course stylized for style, but also, for example, on both sides, this intake is actually functional. Guys, this is what I'm talking about, each trim being unique and different. This is a TRD Pro. It has this off-road light bar in the center of the grille, of course Toyota script. It's got amber lights done in a very reminiscent way to the Ford Raptor, the F-150, and of course LED headlights. And I'm standing here actually near this headlight. This is LEDs, and I can feel actually the heat coming from it. So these are high powered, very bright, and I can also warm up my hands. Here's the back of the TRD Pro really quick. You can see the LEDs lit up. You can also see the 2-piece tailgate, also with this different trim on the TRD Pro. You got the marker lights, and the marker lights are also here because the truck, due to the wheel offset, is wider than 80 inches overall, which makes, by regulation, it requires it to have the marker lights up front and in the back. And of course, the big TRD Pro proudly stamped right there in the tailgate. Number 9 on my list are the powertrains in this new truck. So let me use this TRD Pro to show you under the hood and tell you everything about it. So you pop the engine this way, it's still pretty easy. You walk around, look at this beautiful orange paint. And this is the TRD Pro. This is the only way it comes for 2022 with this engine. They call it the iForce Max. You could see this, they had a teaser image of this up from long before, but this is their new hybrid. It's based on a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. That's why you have these, 3 cylinders in this cover, this decorative piece. And then between the engine, the V6 itself, and basically the torque converter and the transmission, they have an electric motor sandwiched in there. And this engine powertrain is rated at 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque. It sends this power to 10-speed automatic in this hybrid, and of course to all four wheels in this case on the Pro. But here's a couple of very interesting points. First of all, this engine, the powertrains are built in the US. Also, they paid special attention to the engine block cooling, the piston design, the valve, the exhaust manifolds. They've touched every piece of this engine to make sure it remains cool under heavy loads for towing and off-road use. And then the power rating I just mentioned. First of all, it's higher than the F-150 hybrid, which basically competes directly against this. But also that rating is on 87 octane. Usually companies like Ford and some others, when they have premium engines, premium powertrains, they rate the power at premium fuel, like a 91 octane. Not Toyota. Toyota rated this truck at 87 octane. It's capable to run this, which is fairly impressive by itself. So when you open the hood, a couple of ways you can tell it's a hybrid, not just by looking at the blue Max label right there. You can see high voltage cables in orange, of course. That's the industry standard, going to different modules like this inverter assembly right here on the passenger side. And then in the back, let me show you where the battery lives. And for the hybrid, it has to have a high voltage battery. In this case, Toyota went to tried and true battery. It's kind of living right here underneath the rear seat. There's an access panel here. And it's actually using the space, as you can tell, underneath this rear seat. So in fact, you are losing some storage underneath the seat because the regular truck with non-hybrid powertrain has some cubby holes under there. But it's a 288 volt nickel metal hydride battery, so it's not lithium ion. So they went with the tried and true battery. But this is the system, and the hybrid can drive on electric only. It can use just a gas engine only. It can combine them for maximum power and acceleration. That maximum torque is at 2400 RPM. So it's got, well, we haven't driven it yet. No journalist has, but just looking at the numbers on paper, that's really impressive torque, down low in the RPM range. And Toyota says they were able to fill in that torque number really early with the electric motor. I cannot wait to drive this. Ooh, and one more thing. The exhaust system on the new Tundra is quite interesting. Right here you can see the TRD Pro dual outlets on the driver's side. Yes, not on the passenger side. This is not a dual outlet going out on each side. And Toyota has done this for a couple of reasons. It's mostly for the frame and the fuel tank and the drive system packaging. This was the most efficient, and they say also the most structurally safe way to do this. And the outlets come out here, but they have different outlets for different trim levels. And this right here is a 1794 luxury edition of the new Tundra. It has this chrome finisher, single exhaust. It's pretty large. Also the same outlet on the driver's side. And this truck does not have the hybrid. It has the regular twin turbo. Believe it or not, this is the base power plant for the new Tundra, the twin turbo 3.5 liter V6. The base power rating is 389 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Once again, on regular 87 octane fuel. Also a 10-speed automatic transmission. And yeah, there's no more V8 underneath the hood of the Tundra. You get either this V6 or the hybrid V6. I interrupt this video for an Easter egg update. Right here on the passenger side headlight mount, it shows Michigan with R&D. Yes, it was designed partially in Michigan and also California. And on this side, on the driver's side, it has a born in Texas label because this truck is built in San Antonio, Texas. And here's what the rear storage area looks like if you don't have a hybrid Tundra. It basically has this reconfigurable underseat storage, and these little dividers come out, and they also have little Easter eggs printed on them. Built in Texas, designed in Michigan. There you have it. Number 8 on my list has to be the tailgate and actually the bed on the new Tundra. Let's say I'm carrying something like this backpack and it's really heavy, I don't want to put it down. They have a new feature here on some of the new Tundras. I can hit this button with my elbow, boom, and the tailgate comes down. And another cool thing about this is every new Tundra is now going to have a key fob with a button for also lowering the tailgate. And then you come to the bed. It has this composite design structure actually. It's not steel, it's not aluminum. Right there, it has aluminum under trusses underneath it. It's fully composite. It's very similar to the Tacoma. It's the latest iteration of that. And this is a 6.5-foot bed on this crew cab, so that's also new. Maximum payload is 1,940 pounds. So Toyota didn't go chasing those highest numbers that some of the other half-ton trucks in the segment have. But they said this payload they felt was capable for this truck and competitive. Oh, one more thing. This bed surface can be slippery. So there are a couple of solutions, and I talked to Toyota about this. I also have an extensive interview with Mike Sweers, the chief engineer. He said they're aware that this surface can be slippery. You can do a rubberized mat that is an accessory you could buy for this truck, and or they have a coating that you can actually get an additional coating as a bed liner, so to speak, to add more friction to the surface so things don't easily slide. So those are the solutions that they have. Although the maximum payload is near 2,000 pounds on a two-wheel drive base truck, this fully optioned 1794 has a payload of 1,270 pounds. You can find this on the sticker. And the gross vehicle weight rating, the GVWR, is 7,330. So these are competitive numbers still, but when you do have this long wheelbase, crew cab, Lux truck, yeah, the payloads will come down. Number 7 on my list has to do with towing, and the brand new 2022 Tundra is rated to tow up to 12,000 pounds. So yes, it does not have some of those billboard numbers that some of its competitors has, but I spoke to the engineers at Toyota. They said at 12,000 pounds, they've tested it to all the latest standards, J2807 and the rest, and at 12,000 pounds maximum for the non-hybrid, the truck behaves, according to them, once again, according to Toyota, comfortably. It can comfortably tow that number. And here you see this Airstream trailer, of course, hooked up, a 2-inch receiver. The trailer chains are actually relatively easy to hook up. You don't have to search underneath the truck to find something, and the departure angle is still taken care of for the most part. And here are a couple of other things that enable some of this increased capability, because now the Tundra is more capable for towing and payload than it was before. First of all, the suspension system. If you look down underneath, and in this case, you can see this airbag cover right here by the solid rear axle. Once again, this is a multi-link system, and it doesn't have leaf springs. And now you have this optional air spring to level you out as much as possible with a load in the bed or behind you as a trailer. Then they have the standard suspension. They have a TRD off-road Bilstein. They have TRD Pro Fox. They have luxury adaptive shocks that adjust in real time. And then also they have air rear springs to adjust the height of the truck. Those are all optional things. So there's a lot going on. And one more thing, to keep in line with Toyota's reliability and durability goals, they brought this. This is a chain on a Borg-Warner transfer case for a four-wheel drive system from a competitor truck. This is a 2022 Toyota Tundra Borg-Warner chain for the transfer case. As you can see, this is about 1 inch 1/4. This is 1 3/4. They wanted to keep every component as durable as possible, which is why they chose to go with the bigger components like this. Number 6 on my list is a unique feature that only a Tundra can have, or only the Tundra has, and the new one has this too, and it's a full fold down rear glass. And this is actually part of the towing experience, or any experience in this new truck, because when you're, for example, launching a boat in the water, you can actually hear the people behind you with this window fully down. You could see better. And also they improved the aerodynamics of the cab up here and the aerodynamics of the truck on the outside, so you don't have as much of backdraft here, so you don't get all the dust or trash flying into the cab when driving. I have to address a piece of controversy, I believe, that's with this new Tundra. Here in the back, this is a TRD Pro, and here in the bed you have a 400 watt 110 volt outlet right here, which you probably have seen in other trucks before, but this is a hybrid, and as such it will be compared against the F-150 hybrid with their 7.2 kilowatt inverter generator system. Toyota is not offering anything like that in this truck, and I asked them why not, why aren't you adding that capability to this truck, and they said that currently they looked at what the customers are doing. They feel the 400 watt system does enough for most of their customers. And also they're looking into the future, of course, and studying other possibilities, and they want to find a solution that's affordable enough to provide more power. But they said right now they didn't see a need for it. That's the answer from Toyota. Another Easter egg update here in the windshield on the passenger side. There's a little Toyota Trucks mountain range. I'm not sure what that means, but it's for the outdoors. And there is something else. Do you see these dots and dashes and spaces? I believe this is Morse code with a little trick. Can you help me decode it? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5 on my list has to do with the interior. Of course, it's all new for this truck. And this is number 5. This is a new infotainment system. It's a 14-inch screen. This is a limited trim level of the Tundra, and most of the trims actually come with this system. And it's also the latest software driving this particular system. You could save your profiles, like you could see right here. This is the truck that's towing, and then you can take this profile with you maybe to another vehicle or another truck if you so choose. It does have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. It has a lot of different cool features. For example, your trip information. Of course, this truck hasn't moved, but you can also do things like this. Hey Toyota,
what do you want to do?
What is the weather like in Denver, Colorado?
It is mostly sunny in Denver, Colorado, and it feels like 86 degrees Fahrenheit.
This system is so simple. As you can tell, you have your main menu on this side with your just settings, some vehicle information, alerts, no alerts right now, your phone integration, your music integration, of course satellite radio, your maps, voice activation. Down below in the console here you can see this new design, wireless charger for your phone on the left, different places for multiple devices. 2 devices can connect to this system at the same time, and this is also very important. You have giant switches for your tow haul mode activation, your camera system, your traction control, your of course emergency flashers, your air suspension in this case, and your climate control system is actually down here, separate and hard switches. It's not inside of the digital system, so you can use these switches in gloves. You also have ventilated and heated seats, all your climate control settings here. Your volume knob is very large and on this driver's side. And finally, there's the camera system. Here's the latest 360-degree camera system. This is the truck I'm sitting in. there's a trailer attached. As it's going through, you can change its color, which I thought is just kind of a cool feature. And you can also change the different modes. This is a more zoomed in mode where you can actually kind of see around the truck right before you back up, and you can actually pause this animation. This is real time, by the way. And also this truck has other towing features, such as the straight backup assist, where it will actually will steer for you while you back up, so you can kind of back down that alleyway or the boat launch ramp more easily. If you want different cameras, you got cameras. The new Tundra also has a rear camera mirror. As you can tell, there's the trailer behind me. You have many different adjustments, anything from your brightness to your, how high the camera is looking, side to side. So when towing, this could be kind of useful. Also, a little bit of rotation, so if you're on uneven terrain, you can see a little bit to the side of you. A lot of different adjustments on this new system. The TRD Pro model gets this unique steering wheel for the Tundra. It's got the red marker at 12 o'clock. It's also, in this case, manually adjustable. On the TRD Pro, it says TRD right here. And the TRD Pro has a very special front light bar, and there's a special light switch right here on the left. Otherwise, you're using your regular headlight stock right here. Next on my list are all of the trim levels that are now offered in the brand new Tundra. I'm standing right now next to the Platinum, which is not the top end. The top end on the luxury segment is actually the new 1794. But this Platinum model offers many luxury features like a power step here on the passenger side, one on the driver's side, and another really cool feature in the back. Check this out. When you open the tailgate, this little step comes out, which makes it very, very easy to get into your bed and load stuff up. And especially with the air suspension on this truck, you can put it in the lower mode and actually ease your loading once again. Cool feature. The Tundra starts at an SR grade. I don't have one to show you here. There's a double cab, which is a shorter cab, with either a 6.5 foot bed or an 8.1 foot bed. Of course, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. Then there's the SR5. Then there is the Limited, which is kind of in the middle of the grades. Then it goes to the Platinum, which is this truck with a few more luxury items and features. And then finally, they're calling it kind of a 2 top-level trims, 1794 and then TRD Pro. TRD Pro, of course, off-road worthy, 1794, kind of a Western-style luxury. So that's the trim layout on the new Tundra. I have another Easter egg update for you. You see this little number 6? It's actually on both sides of this bed here in the back, and it refers to a 2x6. So these cutouts in the bed are meant as dividers, and it's meant for a 2x6. So you can put either horizontal pieces of wood or plates here, or vertical to subdivide your bed into different configurations. Next on my list must be this. It's the new digital gauge cluster on the new Tundra, and this is a 12.3 inch screen. It's in addition to the 14 inch screen that's in the center, and it's optional, so not every new Tundra will have this. But here's the big part behind this. The new 2022 model now has many different drive modes. So there is a selector knob on the center console that allows you to go normal is the default, basically. There's comfort mode. This truck is equipped with adaptive variable suspension, or AVS in Toyota speak. And the reason why I know this is because Sport S Plus is available, which is the kind of the most, well, according to Toyota, a most fun mode for a Toyota Tundra on road. And of course, there is also comfort and eco, and this suspension adjusts in real time. It's optional, like I said. It's available on this Platinum model I'm currently sitting in. There's also tow haul mode. You can see that little green symbol. There's also two different settings for tow haul mode. There is a base one, and then there's kind of the aggressive tow haul mode plus. And here you have your turbo PSI gauge. You have your battery indicator. Right now it's about half battery. And Toyota hasn't published the nickel metal hydride battery capacity, so we don't know the kilowatt hours quite yet. And in case you're wondering, why did they choose the nickel metal hydride batteries versus the lithium ion? Well, I asked Toyota this, and they said a couple of big, huge reasons. First is the availability of the new batteries. They felt like they had more access to the nickel metal hydride batteries. Also, at the end of life, after the batteries are used up, at the end of their life, they're more easily recyclable, so they liked that feature as well. Of course, lithium ion has better density for the battery, so maybe they might use them in the future, we don't know, but right now it's nickel-based battery chemistry. That's right. Next on my list are two luxury features on the new truck. First is a panoramic sunroof. As you can see, it opens about halfway, but the glass goes all the way back to the rear seat. That's a cool optional feature. And another one, let me show you in the back. And the other feature that I have not seen on any pickup truck yet is this very simple one. It's a manual rear sunshade. And of course, trucks are becoming family vehicles, day-to-day vehicles. So this is nice for your family. Maybe you have a baby or a kid back here. You want to shade them. Very simple, very useful, and available on some trims of the Tundra. I interrupt this video for another Easter egg update. If you look at the center console, which actually has a lot of neat features, little cubby holes, little different ways of opening it. There are a few little tiny vehicles. As you can tell, there's a little truck here, there's a little SUV here, another SUV down there, and if you open this divider, there's also a truck, an SUV, and maybe a different sized truck. So what does this all mean? I don't know, they wouldn't tell me. I asked. But what I think it means is that there's now a global TNGA-F architecture for all Toyota trucks globally. And they will create several different vehicles based on the same architecture. One of these might be a 4Runner, maybe a Land Cruiser overseas. Another one might be a Tacoma. Another one might be a Tundra. So this may be a foreshadowing of what's coming later, but it's another Easter egg. And number one on my list of coolest new Tundra features has to be the suspension system underneath the new TRD Pro. So let's go down and check it out. Toyota hasn't published a lot of specifications, including ground clearance, approach angle, articulation numbers, but we can look under here. And first of all, this now red stabilizer bar or anti-sway bar is gigantic. You can kind of see, it's pretty giant. I'm really curious about how this works with this double wishbone suspension up front with the A-arms. How it articulates, we'll have to wait and see. But these shocks are 2.5 inch internal bypass Fox shocks. They're not live. They're set only for this truck, the way they are. And also they have piggyback reservoirs for the fronts as well as the rears. Let's check out the rear. Here's a view of the rear suspension system. There's another stabilizer bar right here that goes widthwise. Here you can see this is a good view of the piggyback reservoir on this Fox shock on the back. And what this allows the shock to do is also have more travel and also has a little bit more shock fluid. And it's using the latest Fox proprietary shock fluid with, less friction. So this is the suspension system. And out here, as I alluded to before, the TRD Pro is a little bit wider than the other Tundras. You could see this wider fender flare right here. It kind of adds a little bit of width, but this is not a Ford Raptor competitor, and it is not a Ram TRX competitor for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's not a true wide body truck. It probably will not have the same articulation numbers up to about 11 or 14 inches of travel like those top trucks from Ford and Ram. And also it does not have a 35-inch tall tire or more. This is still a 33 Falcon Wild Peak AT all-terrain tire. So what Toyota is doing here is actually, according to them, once again, they're adding some high-speed off-road capability to this truck without taking away almost any payload or towing capability from this truck. But they're not going all the way. This is, my take on this. They're not going all the way for the Raptor or a Ram TRX competitor. And really the way they're getting extra track width on the TRD Pro is with the wheel offset. This is an 18-inch wheel, basically a 33-inch tall tire, and the offset is what determines really how wide this truck can be. Guys, there is so much with this new truck. I have a bonus for you. Check it out. So if you get the advanced towing package on the new Tundra, it comes with a few other things. This is an active air dam, so it basically folds open like this and helps with the coefficient of drag, not just for the truck, but also with the trailer. And let me show you on the side what's happening there. You may have seen this element on a Toyota Tacoma, but now the new Tundra also utilizes many of these little vortex generators. There's some on the front headlights. There are also a few vortex generators in the back here by the bed and the tail light. You can see them here and here. What these are basically doing, they're disturbing the air as the truck is moving at higher speeds, and they're actually removing some of the vacuum that's right next to the truck. So sometimes on the highway you could feel some wandering in an older truck. Well, this helps reduce that. Also helps reduce that side-to-side movement when like a semi-truck is passing you. So every detail matters. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are my top 10 best features on the new Tundra. There's a lot to talk about. We also have a podcast featuring Mike Sweers, the chief engineer, where we go a little bit more in depth into each one of these elements. And the reason why I didn't talk about pricing, because those numbers are not available yet, but Toyota says the brand new Tundra will be on sale this year, 2021. And as always, go back to tfltruck.com for all the latest news, views, and real-world truck reviews. Coming up very soon on TFL Truck, our brand new video series for a few bucks less. Check it out.
What is that? Envelope. N's for you, T's for you, and A's for you.
Sweet.
We're calling this new series for a few bucks less.
This is $2,500 bucks.
Exactly.
Look at it. It's a B4000.
Were you living in here for a while? Look at it! It's a 1965 Peugeot 404.
And the transmission is still there.
Aha!
I thought you bought a Peugeot. Taking that aside, everything pretty much works. Oh, I got him at the line.
Come on! That's gonna be the slowest race ever done at this IMI track.
But here's what I found in my truck.
You found that?
It's a bat.
It's still leaking. It's a little tiny bit of oil.
Nathan, how do you feel against the mighty V8 right now?
So guys, the question now is, for a few bucks less, did you get a little less or a lot less? And there's only one way to figure that out.